Welcome to our news segment on the current situation in Ukraine. Let's delve into the details of the aggressive conscription tactics being employed. Bernard, can you start us off with your thoughts?
Absolutely, Sheila. It's alarming to see Ukrainian recruiters becoming so aggressive. This desperation to maintain troop levels is a sad reflection of the ongoing tragedy in Ukraine. It's heartbreaking to see the toll it's taking on ordinary citizens.
Oh, the irony of it all. Recruiters using force and fear, snatching people right off the streets. It's like something out of a dystopian novel, except it's happening right now in Ukraine. The situation reeks of desperation and a blatant disregard for human rights.
From a legal and ethical standpoint, this is deeply troubling. These recruitment methods are not just aggressive but potentially illegal. It's a clear breach of human rights, and the psychological impact on these individuals must be profound.
Quite concerning indeed. Harold, what more can you tell us?
The legal repercussions are significant. With a surge in court cases, it's clear that many in Ukraine are pushing back against these extreme recruitment methods. This speaks volumes about the general public's sentiment towards these tactics.
It's a complex issue, isn't it? Martial law has muddied the waters, allowing for these harsh recruitment practices. It's a classic example of how extraordinary circumstances can lead to questionable legal interpretations.
Yeah, and let's not forget the personal stories here. People like Mr. Yefimenko being forced to recruitment centers against their will. It's a stark reminder of how individual lives are being upended in this conflict.
The evidence on social media is undeniable. It's not just isolated incidents, it's a widespread issue. The psychological trauma inflicted on these individuals and their families must be immense.
Harold, what's the official response to all this?
The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense is, at least, acknowledging the problem. They're talking about changing the laws, but the real question is whether these changes will make a difference on the ground.
It's a classic case of too little, too late. Public sentiment has shifted dramatically since the invasion. Initially, there was a rush to defend the country, but now, people are understandably scared and trying to avoid the draft. It's a sad turn of events.
This whole situation is a mess. Aggressive recruitment, coercion, you name it. It's as if they're scraping the bottom of the barrel now, and the ethical implications are just being tossed aside.
The high casualty rates and the ambiguity in the laws are fueling this crisis. It's a desperate measure, reflecting the dire situation Ukraine finds itself in. The psychological burden on these conscripts and their communities must be overwhelming.
Harold, can you round up our discussion with some final points?
Certainly. The corruption aspect is particularly disturbing. It's creating a divide where the wealthy can avoid conscription, while the poor bear the brunt. Also, the situation in regions like Vyznitsia shows just how deep-seated the problem is, with bribery rampant in the recruitment process.
The impact on local communities is devastating. Tactics like passport confiscation are creating an atmosphere of fear and distrust. It's not just a military issue, it's a societal problem that's tearing at the fabric of these communities.
Thank you all for this insightful discussion. That concludes our segment on Ukraine's conscription tactics. Stay tuned for more updates.
And there you have it, a complete breakdown of societal norms in the name of war. The human cost of these tactics is just another tragic layer in an already tragic situation. It's a no-win scenario for the ordinary Ukrainian.